Place over the weekend when officials did detain about 150 people.
We start with news of a multi-agency mission in Hays County resulting in the arrest of more than
4 a.m. Houston and San Jose are still asleep when the silence suddenly shatters. At the same moment in 4 cities, Houston, San Jose, El Paso, and Sacramento, more than 600 federal agents sweep into backyards, industrial zones, and nighttime districts. 13 helicopters hover above the rooftops, their spotlights carving out the silhouettes of tactical teams moving toward the entry points. 21 units advance in perfect sync, as if someone pressed start on the largest operation of the year. The cities wake to the thunder of battering rams. Doors rip off their hinges. Shouts drown out the sirens. Federal officials say this may become the biggest strike against a smuggling network in the past decade, so massive that even the cartels can't react in time. What began as a routine dawn sweep turns within minutes into a show of force meant to make one thing clear. Today, there is nowhere left to hide. The raid centered on the remote mountain county of Rio Blanco, Colorado, an area that for years served as a quiet, unnoticed transit corridor between Denver, Utah, and the southern border routes. Here, in the small town of Mesa Vista, agents stormed the police department itself, where the key target, Narcotics Division Captain Luis Mendoza, had turned the station into his personal trafficking command center. Inside his office, agents found $3.6 million in cash. In the garage, 40 kilograms of cocaine, proof that the local police department had become a critical link between the cartels and interstate transporters. The operation covered 4 locations within the county and disrupted supplier networks across 2 neighboring states, becoming the largest anti-corruption strike against law enforcement in the Rocky Mountains in the last 10 years. The investigation began almost by accident with an anonymous report that came to the DEA hotline on a spring night. The call was brief, the voice shaking. South of Austin, there's a place the police never check. They're moving money there, money that shouldn't exist. That was enough to trigger a preliminary review, but within weeks, the anonymous tip evolved into a months-long joint operation run by the FBI, DEA, and HSI under an interagency task force. At first glance, it looked like a banal gambling club in an industrial strip between I-35 and SH-130, a semi-legal diversion for long-haul truckers. But the financial records agents pulled from tax databases didn't match the electricity usage, deliveries, or foot traffic. The club reported only a few dozen visitors per day, yet the facility could easily handle close to 100. Then came more red flags. Equipment imported from Hong Kong, labeled as arcade machines, actually contained professional money counters, and several payment orders were routed through cryptocurrency mixers. That was when investigators expanded the probe. Wiretaps, long-term surveillance cameras, and multiple controlled transactions. Undercover agents brought in small amounts of cash and walked out with fully cleaned digital tokens. There was only one conclusion: the establishment wasn't just collecting bets. It was operating as a full-scale financial hub for a narcotics cartel. What they uncovered was far more complex than expected. On paper, the casino looked legitimate. Licenses, a registered business entity, security, bookkeeping. But every document was forged or routed through shell companies registered in Wyoming and Nevada. The real money flow followed a completely different path. Couriers from Mexico brought in cash stuffed in sports bags, carried it through the casino's back door, and from there, a team of financial operators activated the laundering machine. The cash entered the system as player winnings, was converted into cryptocurrency, split into hundreds of microtransactions, funneled through mixers, and re-emerged as clean currency in other states. Meanwhile, side rooms served as meeting spaces for contracts disguised as shipments of electronic components and software services, which in reality masked payments for narcotics distribution. It turned out the casino wasn't just a place where money circulated, it sat at the top of a regional supply chain. Front companies connected Austin with Laredo and San Antonio, while couriers moved freshly cleaned funds toward El Paso, where truck drivers picked them up. The system ran with such precision that any delay, longer than an hour, automatically froze cryptocurrency conversions, a built-in safeguard against audits and raids. 6 months of surveillance gave the task force everything they needed: cash flow patterns, operator identities, cryptocurrency exchange models, internal accounting logs, and even video of the casino manager bragging about 7-figure turnover. But one moment changed everything. In September, agents documented an unusual night delivery: a van with no plates that pulled up to the rear dock and stayed only 3 minutes. An hour later, 3 safes were moved out of the casino, and the payment gateways started generating transactions in abnormally high amounts. This could only mean one thing: a large drug shipment or critical documents were stored inside, and the network was preparing to relocate. That anomaly became the trigger for action. By the next morning, an emergency raid was authorized. When agents entered the building, they found fake passports, accounting books filled with crypto codes, packaged narcotics, and safes stuffed with cash. Everything confirmed the truth. The casino had never been a gambling venue. It was the command center for financing a regional narcotics syndicate that had operated for years under the cover of legitimate business. When investigators unlocked the encrypted hard drives seized during the raids, they expected to find standard narcotics ledgers. Instead, they uncovered a fully developed map of a shadow economy operating with the precision of a government institution. The files contained detailed cash flow schemes running through 9 shell companies and 27 bank accounts in Panama, Uruguay, and Texas. Every transaction pointed to a single hub: the Venezuelan cartel Los Rios, long suspected of sponsoring regional criminal groups, but never before linked to operations of this scale. The investigation revealed that Project Centauro was not an operation, but an entire multi-module criminal system where each branch, narcotics, weapons, human trafficking, or financial manipulation, function like a separate department within one corporate structure. Cocaine shipments originated in the border triangle between Venezuela, Colombia, and Brazil. The raw product was moved to laboratories in Mexico, where Los Rios chemists blended it with precursors sourced from China and Guatemala. After processing, batches were divided into smaller units and sent into the United States via couriers, commercial cargo, and falsified medical supply shipments. The digital documents included a table noting that each container carried up to 1.5 million potential lethal doses. This made the pipeline extraordinarily dangerous. An error or leak at any stage could trigger mass casualties in any city along the route. Just as critical was the weapons logistics network. Los Rios purchased firearms in Paraguay and Texas through private sellers and intermediaries. Some weaponry protected laboratories. The rest was used to arm groups guarding relay warehouses in New Mexico and Arizona. The recovered files listed 214 firearms, including rifles, suppressors, and optical sights. Supply routes overlapped with narcotics corridors, allowing simultaneous transport of product and armed security through the same channels. Centauro ran a dual-direction pipeline. Narcotics moved north. People moved north and south simultaneously. The structure relied on staging hubs in Puebla and Tucson, where migrants were sorted into 3 categories: assigned to work in drug laboratories, forced into sexual exploitation, deployed as couriers, mules. Recovered communications showed that every individual was treated as an asset with a fixed valuation from $2,000 to $12,000. This made the system financially self-sustaining. Human trafficking supplied both profit and labor for other divisions. The bank accounts in Panama and Uruguay functioned as buffer nodes where funds underwent initial cleaning via investment fronts and fabricated export contracts. The money then moved through Texas, the state where the shell companies had legal representatives and access to the U.S. banking system. Key masking techniques included crypto payments routed through mixers, fake logistics contracts, transactions between shell companies in which one issued a payment and another immediately closed it with falsified goods receipts. In total, the system could channel up to $40 million per quarter while remaining nearly invisible to banking monitors. Separate folders contained technical plans for temporary labs, ventilation layouts, precursor storage norms, and relocation procedures. Each site operated for 3 to 10 months before being dismantled. Warehouse operations in the U.S. followed a cascading model. Primary storage received the product. Redistribution centers divided it into city-level batches. Final nodes handed it off to local dealers. The final branch of the system was the least obvious. Through the same banking loops, Los Rios financed the purchase of dual-use microelectronics, including drone chips and secure communication components. Some were used for cartel security. Others were sold to allied groups across the Caribbean. Conclusion: why the scheme was so dangerous. Project Centauro merged narcotics distribution, weapons supply, human trafficking, money laundering, and technological smuggling into a single self-sustaining mechanism. Drug profits paid for weapons. Weapons protected the labor force. The labor force kept the labs running. Crypto channels guaranteed impunity. The seized data makes one fact undeniable. This system could generate millions of lethal doses every year, and its direct ties to Los Rios made it a cornerstone of the criminal infrastructure of the entire continent. The investigation reached its turning point when analysts combined GPS logs, highway camera footage, and internal patrol records. What they discovered was unequivocal. Patrol units weren't simply failing to notice drug-hauling trucks, they were escorting them. The route stretched from Laredo to Los Angeles, each run disguised as agricultural transport. This proved that the leak and corruption were not isolated to individual officers, but embedded within an entire segment of the law enforcement chain. Once it became clear that the operation spanned multiple states and a full network of transport contractors, federal agencies had to move in complete silence. Weeks of preparation involved coordination between the FBI, DEA, HSI, and a limited number of local units deemed clean. Strike teams assembled at night. Undercover rehearsals took place during the day. In an underground briefing center in El Paso, agents built a detailed assault map. 17 entry points, 4 retreat corridors, and time synchronization calibrated to the second. Drones monitored approach routes, while cyber teams isolated and blocked any potential information leaks. Why act today? Federal analysts agreed they had only one opportunity. A new shipment was expected at dawn, and the escort crews under surveillance had begun altering their routes suspiciously. The warning was clear. If this convoy slipped through, the network would go underground, and several corrupt officers would vanish. Pressure mounted. The structure could collapse at any moment. The decision was made without delay. 05 airs, a simultaneous strike. No margin for error. Within the first few hours of counting, agents documented $82 million in clean profit the cartel had laundered through fictitious companies. On paper, these firms had offices, payrolls, and tax filings. In reality, they had never conducted a single legitimate transaction. Inside their safes were reports showing that tens of millions had flowed through these structures in just the last 18 months. More than 1.2 tons of cocaine and methamphetamine were seized, the equivalent of over 3 million potentially lethal doses. Some shipments were packaged for interstate transport. Others were already divided into city-level batches. Agents recovered 147 weapons, including AR-15 rifles, scoped long guns, short-barreled firearms, suppressors, and military-grade radios. The arsenal confirmed the network maintained its own armed escort units. 9 industrial safes packed with currency were found in garages and basements, alongside cold storage crypto wallets holding balances in the hundreds of thousands and suitcases filled with cash collected from nightclubs and casinos. Hundreds of fake IDs, passports, employment contracts, and logistics manifest, a fully standardized cover package for couriers and drivers, servers containing accounting software, encrypted communication devices, radio networks, and laptops equipped with crypto conversion tools. Separate drives stored manuals for operating pocket labs. And 46 trafficked workers living in windowless rooms were rescued. Couriers, route coordinators, and financial operators, a total of 39 suspects, were taken into custody. What was seized did more than show scale. It revealed that the cartel functioned like a multi-divisional corporation where every asset, every person, and every document had a calculated value. After the operation concluded, authorities detained 17 individuals, including active duty officers from California and Texas, personnel from the El Paso, Fresno, and Brownsville departments. They are suspected of facilitating smuggling, conspiring with a foreign cartel, and engaging in systematic abuse of power. For federal agents, this confirmed the worst-case scenario. A portion of the law enforcement system had effectively been working for a criminal network. Investigators noted that the scheme was particularly dangerous because it combined narcotics trafficking, financial laundering, and corrupt institutional cover. It had survived for so long because the cartel invested in the right people, altered routes, insider intelligence, sanitized reports. The breakthrough became possible due to 3 factors: digital analysis that linked transport routes to official GPS trackers, financial audits of shell companies, internal testimony confirming patrol involvement in escorting the trucks. A DEA spokesperson emphasized, "We didn't just disrupt the scheme, we severed the spine of a network that believed itself untouchable for decades." The FBI stated this was the largest anti-corruption operation on the Western transport corridors in the past 5 years. Agents noted that previous operations dismantled individual branches, but for the first time, they managed to collapse all levels of the system at once, from drivers to high-ranking coordinators. Their conclusion is unequivocal. After this strike, the cartel will be forced to rebuild from scratch.